let's be honest, probably crosses all of our minds at some point, our memory. We all have those little oops moments, those little slips. But how can you really tell the difference between what's just a normal part of getting older and what might be a sign of something more serious? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Oh, you know this feeling, right? It's almost a universal human experience. You march into the kitchen on a mission, you get there, and nothing. It's just gone. You're just standing there, kind of looking around, hoping the thought will just pop back into your head. It's frustrating, for sure, but it happens to the best of us.
And here's the really good news, right off the bat. You're not alone in this, and it doesn't automatically mean something is wrong. Our brains, just like the rest of our bodies, change over time. It's totally normal for it to take a little longer to learn a new skill or to pull up a name from the back of your mind. That's often just part of the natural process. So, that's the big question, isn't it? What exactly falls into that normal bucket? Let's get into the specifics and really understand the kinds of things that are considered typical age-related memory changes. Now, as you look at this list, the key word I want you to focus on is occasional. See, these are things that happen once in a while. You might forget to pay one bill, but you catch it later. You might lose your keys, but you can usually retrace your steps and find them. These are little hiccups, not things that completely derail your life. Okay, but then you have the other side of the coin. When do those little hiccups start to look more like red flags? This is where we need to shift our focus from single events to patterns that really start to get in the way of daily life. Let's look at a few side-by-side comparisons to make the difference crystal clear. And this is a perfect example. Missing one payment is an oops moment. It happens. But having consistent trouble managing your money, paying bills on time, or just keeping track of your budget, well, that signals a bigger challenge, and it's something that really shouldn't be ignored. Here's another really great one. Come on, we all have those tip-of-the-tongue moments where a word just vanishes. But it's a whole different thing if you're finding it genuinely difficult to follow along with a conversation, or if you frequently stop mid-sentence because you've lost your train of thought completely. That's a more significant concern. And one more for good measure. Losing your reading glasses only to find them sitting on top of your head? That's classic, right? But constantly misplacing important things and having absolutely zero ability to retrace your steps to find them, that points to a different level of memory problem. So beyond those direct comparisons, here are a few other key signs to keep on your radar. If you, or maybe a loved one, are asking the same questions over and over again, getting lost in a neighborhood you've known for years, or really struggling with tasks that used to be second nature, these are definite signals that it's probably time to dig a little deeper. Okay, so if you are seeing some of those red flags, what could actually be going on? I think for a lot of people, the mind immediately jumps to dementia, but it's so important to understand that there are other possibilities too. One of those is something called mild cognitive impairment, or MCI. You can kind of think of it as a middle ground. The memory issues are noticeable, sure, but they're not severe enough to stop someone from living independently. And here's what's so crucial. While MCI can be an early sign of Alzheimer's, not everyone who has it goes on to develop dementia. I really want to pause here for a second, because this right here, this is probably the single most important myth we need to bust. We just can't say it enough. Yes, our brains might slow down a bit, but the kind of severe cognitive decline we see with dementia is a medical condition. It is not an inevitable part of getting older, period. So dementia is really an umbrella term for this loss of function. And notice the wording here. It's not just about remembering. It's about the loss of overall cognitive functioning. That includes your ability to reason, to use language, and other vital thinking skills, all to the point where it gets in the way of a person's daily life. But now for a really important point of hope. These memory problems can actually come from a whole host of other causes. And here's the best part. Many of them are treatable or even completely reversible. Things as simple as a vitamin B12 deficiency, a side effect from a new medication, or even just long-term stress and bad sleep can actually mimic dementia symptoms. That's why finding the root cause is absolutely everything. All right, so after all that, what can we actually do about it? The great thing is, no matter how old we are, we can all take steps to support our brain health. Let's look at some really practical strategies. Think of this as your personal brain health toolkit. It's so powerful because it treats your brain as part of your whole body. So, step 1, staying mentally active. When you learn a new skill, you're literally building new pathways, like new roads in your brain. Step 2, social engagement.
This isn't just about feeling good. A good conversation is a complex mental workout. You're recalling things, processing language, reading cues. It's a big deal. Step 3, physical health. This is a non-negotiable. Exercise boosts blood flow to the brain, good food is the right fuel, and sleep is when your brain actually cleans itself out. And finally, step 4, staying organized. When you use lists and routines, you're basically outsourcing the simple stuff, which frees up your brain's processing power for more important things. These are simple habits, but they have powerful results. So we've covered a lot, from what's normal to what's not, and some great tips for brain health. But all of this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important step you can take. Please don't try to self-diagnose, and don't put it off. An early, accurate diagnosis is so critical. A doctor can help rule out all those reversible causes we talked about, and if it does turn out to be something more serious, getting help early opens up the door to treatments and support that can make a massive difference in your quality of life. So I'll just leave you with this question. Think about it. Maybe it's calling a friend to plan a walk, maybe it's trying out a new healthy recipe for dinner, or just doing a crossword puzzle. What's one small thing you can do today? Because when it comes to taking care of your brain, every single little step counts. Thanks for joining me.